Hello guys, it's me Zach and we're watching Learn English with Zach. In this video I want to talk about communication. What is communication? What are the elements of communication? What are the different kinds of communication? What is formal and informal communication? And the more interesting part in this video is that I have given some effective ways by which you can improve your communication. So let's start from the start. What is communication? Communication is the process of exchanging ideas, thoughts, information, feelings and emotions. In communication process, a sender encodes the message and then using a medium send it to the receiver who receives the message, and after processing information send back appropriate feedback by using a medium. Communication is a two-way street. It means both a person who is communicating and a person who is being communicated have to participate in communication. Communication happens when information is shared between two people. Now let's talk about elements of communication. There are 9 important elements of communication, and they are sender, encoding, message, channel, receiver, decoding, response, noise and feedback. These are the 9 essential elements of communication. I hope you have understand till elements, the definition of communication and the elements of communication. Now let's talk about types of communication. So there are 4 types of communication: visual communication, written communication, verbal and non-verbal communication. But in this video I want to talk about just 3 types of communication: verbal and non-verbal communication and written communication. So what is verbal communication? Verbal communication is to express your ideas, your views, thoughts, informations in the form of word and sound. That is called verbal communication. In other words, the spoken part usually involves face-to-face communication, and when people ponder the word communication, they often think about the act of talking. It is called verbal communication. There are 2 major different kinds of verbal communication. The first one is written communication and the second one is oral communication. So let's talk about oral communication. What is oral communication? Oral communication is the spoken communication either face to face, through mobile phone, video conferences, voice chat. These are oral communications. Like for in the presentation you can use, these are the oral communication, and oral communication depends on the clarity of speech. It depends on speed, pitch, sound. Written communication includes traditional pen and paper, letter and document. Like you must have ballpoint, you must have a kind of piece of page which you can do written communication, like email, online, digital one, textbook, SMS. By these platforms you can do written communication. So let's talk about the second type of communication, non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication means non-verbal communication refers to communication that is produced by some means other than words, eye contact, body language or vocal cues. In other words, communication without using words such as body language, the facial expressions is called non-verbal communication. Now there are different kind of elements of non-verbal communications such as body language, eye contact, facial expressions. These are the elements of non-verbal communications. Now let's talk about formal and informal communication. What is formal communication? Formal communication deals with the sharing of information with those who needs it. Sometimes we also call it official communication. There are 3 different kinds of formal communication: vertical communication, horizontal communication and diagonal communication. Horizontal communication refers to communication between individuals who are at the same or similar levels within an organization but have different areas of responsibilities. Horizontal communication is slightly more fluid and dependent on across individual communication. Typical example exists as communication between managers of different departments such as HR, marketing, sales, etc. Diagonal communication, this occurs when employees of different departments at different levels communicate with each other irrespective of chain of command. Communication between a floor manager and a sales team is a prime example of diagonal communication. Vertical communication is a communication that flows up and down the organization, usually along the chain of command or formal reporting lines. It takes place between managers and their superiors and subordinates. Informal communication is the casual communication between co-workers in the office. It is unofficial communication. It is mostly oral communication. It moves faster between the people, and it also costs less time. About the characteristics of communication, the best ways, the effective ways by which you can improve your communication skills. So the first one is clear message. Your message must be clear. Correct message, complete message, precise message, reliability, consideration of the recipient, sender's courtesy. So these are the effective ways by which you can improve your communication skills. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you have enjoyed.